Alright, what's going on everyone? Kevin here again for doing an 8-4 for Channel Mana Leak. Been on a pretty good run lately, so can't really complain about that. If you haven't checked out my other videos, feel free to do so. They're all 8-4s except for one of them. Hopefully we don't get too much crazy background noise on this one. My dogs seem to be running around crazy tonight, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, in this pack we have a few decent cards. Realm Ride is not one of them. A foil Crypt Gas. I don't actually think that's worth anything. Yeah, maybe a ticket and a half. That's still a decent card. I might take it just because it's okay. It have to be pretty heavy black though. Mugging is also what I would probably take if I don't take the Crypt Gas. I'm not really worried about the ticket. I'm trying to figure out which card I like better. I do like Orzhov a lot. This is good. It's an Extort on it. I don't think this really matters though. I'm gonna take the Mugging. Okay, well, I haven't played with it, but my understanding is Stolen Identity is just pretty sick. So I'm going to take it here and see if there's a way we can run it. Looks like an uncommon's been taken out, so it doesn't tell us a whole lot. I mean, I think a lot of people don't like blue in this set, so Dimir is often open. Simic also is often open, so between those two, not really a whole lot of people playing blue generally, so it might be that the person who opened this just doesn't want to play blue. The other possibility is he opened an uncommon he really likes. 1000 Lashes is pretty awesome. There's some, Boros, Guild Mage, and the True Fire Paladin are both pretty awesome. Thinking the cards that would be better than this. There's actually a lot of good blue and black cards in this pack. I like the Spy a lot. The Screecher is very good in either Orzhov or Dimir. The Cult's really good. The Death Cult Rogue's good. Keymaster Rogue's not so great, but you can make it work. But here I'm going to try the Stolen Identity. My understanding it's good. It doesn't go with Mugging, obviously, but hey, you win some, you lose some. This pack has lots of good cards. Guardian of the Gateless, super strong. Could take that and put it in with Mugging for... I mean, it's not fast for Boros, but it's really strong. The Guild Mage is very strong in Gruul. The Elusive Krasis is very strong in Simic. Pit Fight is also super strong in either deck, and this is a tough choice. I kind of wanted to try the Stolen Identity, but look at the cards in here that are in Gruul. I might just take Pit Fight. Removal's hard to come by. This is good in either Gruul or Simic. So it would go with one of these cards. Probably. I like Shadow Slice, but I'd pick it up later. Slaughterhorn's really good. Elusive Krasis is pretty nuts, but it does put us right in Simic. I like Ember Beast too, but I'm going to take the Pit Fight. Okay, well, removal is obviously very good, and it just kind of keeps flowing, so maybe we end up... I mean... Removal's better in Gruul than Boros, I think. I mean, it's good in both, but Boros just wants to be lots of 2-drops and keep getting in. Other cards other than Homing Light in this pack, this Guild Mage is pretty good, but you have to have just a ton of mana for him to be very good, whereas I think the Gruul Guild Mage, he can be good on 4 mana. You make a 4/4 land. This guy, he can remove counters, so you have to have a lot of guys that evolve. That's the word I was trying to find, but was having difficulty finding. In this pack, there's a couple green cards. These are okay. I'm going to take the Homing Lightning. I mean, we have 3 good removal cards in red, and my last draft I was also ended up in Gruul, but I like Ivy Lane Denizen a lot if you can get a lot of green creatures, and I also like the Swine a lot, and Massive Raid is okay if you have a lot of creatures. So Hands of Binding is good in a Simic or in a Dimir deck if you have some evasion, just like any Cypher spell. Well, not any, but the few good ones like Hands of Binding or the black one that deals 3 damage. The couple good Cypher spells. Obviously, you need some sort of evasion, flying, unblockable. So other than that card, which, I mean, I could get But I think these red cards, I mean, Pit Fight I could play in either deck, but Mugging and Homing Lightning are so strong. It's definitely between the Ivy Lane and the Zertos Swine. I'm going to take the Ivy Lane here and just go ahead and commit to Gruul a little bit. If it changes, it changes. I mean, I guess maybe either way, I was going to take the Ivy Lane or the Swine, so either one I'm playing, picking a green card. Here, I could pick a Skinbrand Goblin and keeps with red, so I play that whether I end up playing Gruul or Boros. I mean, I could play a Boros deck with a lot of removal. That's fine by me. In that case, Assault Griffin I could play instead of the Skinbrand Goblin. I like Assault Griffin better than Skinbrand Goblin. It's definitely going to be one of those two cards. The rest of the pack's not super strong. Syndicate Enforcer's fine, so's Gutter Skulk, but at this point my red's so strong. I'll take the Assault Griffin. Well, here's a whole bunch of cards that aren't really anything we're going to want to play in any deck, really. 2 Bioshifts, one of them foil. Predator's Rapport, do not want to play. Forced Adaptation. I've played before, and it wasn't as bad as you would think it would be when I played it. It does obviously make your guy a huge target for removal, but if you put it on a guy that's not very good, then they have to have several removals. I'm going to take it in case I have to play it. If I didn't take it, I'd probably just take the foil Bioshift. Okay. Well, that's a fairly late Nimbus Swimmer, which means no one is probably playing Simic to our right unless they picked up something really good. I mean, there are cards I like better than this because it's slow, but you can drop it down and it's just a big flyer. Nothing wrong with big flyers. Other choice could possibly be Armored Transport. I don't want to take any of these black cards, so it's definitely between these two, and I think Nimbus Swimmer is just so much stronger. I could play... If the Simic cards are really flowing, I could just not play Assault Griffin, play the Swimmer, the Denizen, the Pit Fight, Force Adaptation, and then splash red for Mugging and maybe not play the Humming Lightning. I guess we'll see what comes our way. I mean, we're definitely not playing Orzhov Guildgate. Things would have to go pretty interestingly to want to do that. Same with the Ruffian. Hindervines I'm not a huge fan of, but if we end up with... I mean, I'm almost certainly not going to play this, but if we end up with Simic and end up getting involved guys, it can be okay. Again, there's 6 cards in this pack that we do not want to play. Definitely not going to play 2 Forced Adaptations. Riot Gear I don't like. I guess I'll take Beck and Apparition. I would have to be in white to play that, though. Ugh, those are all pretty terrible. I'll just take the Riot Gear, I guess. I'm not going to play... Oh my gosh. So, an 11th pick Slaughterhorn would lead you to believe no one's playing green. I wouldn't mind the Simic Guildgate either in case I end up splashing for something, but the Slaughterhorn is just so good. So good. If I play Gruul or Simic, I'm happy to play Slaughterhorn, so super happy to see that there. I don't really want to play any of these cards. I guess I'll just pull that one out. Same with this. Alright, here we're in Pack 2. Opened a Foundry Champion, which is actually pretty strong. Doesn't really go with what we have going. I'm going to hide the Forced Adaptation and the Riot Gear. I'm not really worried about playing either of those. Selesnya is not really a guild here. So, I mean, I could play... I definitely would splash a Foundry Champion in a Gruul deck, because it's a 6-drop, so it's not like you need to play it early. It's not like I'm trying to play, 2 drops, like Wojak Halberdiers or something that I want to get out super early. I think I'm going to take the Foundry Champion. Skullcrack's not amazing. Ruination Worm's fine. It might come back to us. It's really the only great card in this pack. Oh, hello. So, I don't know if you watched my last draft, but I pack one, picked one, a Clan Defiance. Spoiler alert. I guess you're probably supposed to say spoiler alert before you say what happened. But regardless, Clan Defiance is just a huge blowout most of the time. It won me several games out of this pack. Other stuff might come back. I'd actually play the Prophetic Prison probably. It looks like at this point probably just going to be red, green, splash white for the Foundry Champion, unless I just pull out a ton of stuff and just not play the Stolen Identity or the Nimbus Swimmer. But I'm definitely taking Clan Defiance. I'd play this in any deck that I could try to splash it in, whether that be Simic, Splash Red, or whether that be really anything. I'm going to play this card. Alright, so the hits keep coming. Ground Assault, I like a lot. Ceratok is okay. It's more of a Simic card. You don't really have a lot of +1/+1 counters unless you have shenanigans going with your Ivy Lane Denizen on the Crown Ceratok. So it's basically just a 4/3, which is kind of removable and doesn't really give most of your guys trample. My removal is going to be pretty strong. In fact, I'm pretty happy with Mugging, Pit Fight, Homing Lightning, Clan Defiance. Foundry Champions like a removal spell. Ground Assault I'm definitely taking here. I did play a draft where it was my first Simic draft, and I ended up with 2 Sapphire Drakes. This guy is just the nuts if you were playing a Simic deck. He makes all your guys +1/+1 flying, and he makes all of a sudden your what is it called? The Snapjaws, which I don't really love, but your Snapjaws when they're 7/4 and you have 2 of them out, you play this guy, and all of a sudden you're flying in the air for basically lethal. Super strong. Not in this deck, taking the Ground Assault, and right now I'm pretty happy with the way this... I mean, we only have 5 creatures, and we're probably not playing Assault Griffin or Nimbus Swimmer, so we definitely are going to need to pick up some creatures here. But Zertos Wine fits the bill. I like it a lot. Rust Scarab's fine too. Sometimes they have an artifact or enchantment that you can destroy, but not that often. I mean, 4/5 is a tough body, but I like the Blood Rush ability on this guy better, and it definitely looks like we're playing some sort of Gruul, so I'm going to take it. I'm happy to play the Zertos Wine. If I could pick up a couple more, I'd be pretty happy. Other decent cards in this pack. Mind Eye Drake's okay. I know a lot of people say they like it a lot. It's a 2/5 flyer, so it can block, but it's not probably going to do a ton of damage. Agoraphobia is fine, but... Okay, so it definitely looks like nobody's... Well, I don't know what these people are playing. This is really a fairly late Drakewing Crisis, so it's probably true that nobody's playing Simic. Another Slaughterhorn, which is a good card. Metropolis Sprite, which plays well in Simic. Burst of Strength, which is actually better than I think most people give it credit for. It's not bad. Truefire Paladin is one of my favorite Boros cards. It's a little slower than some of them, but you just can't really give them... They have no good blocks. No good blocks for the Truefire Paladin, but I'm not playing... I might splash white for the Foundry Champion. I may not, depending on how this deck turns out, but our red-green's so strong, I'm not going to take the Krasis. It's between Experiment and the Slaughterhorn, and I think Gruul is okay being slow enough. I like the Experiment one, but I like the Slaughterhorn here. You can let me know what you think about that pick. Probably, I don't want to say a controversial pick, but I think a lot of people would probably take the Experiment one there, and I don't think that's wrong, but I'm low in creatures right now, so playing a 1/1 and hoping to evolve it several times doesn't seem as good as just playing a guy that's 3/2 and has a decent Blood Rush ability. Again, that could be wrong. In this pack, I mean, Thespian Stage isn't doing anything really in any deck. Court Street Denizen is good in a white deck, lots of white creatures. Here for us is between Disciple of the Old Ways and Massive Raid. Normally I would take the Massive Raid if I had a lot of creatures, but I don't. And a 2/2 First Strike is pretty good. I already have a lot of removal also, so I want the body here. Okay, Ruination Worm came to us. A lot of people are down on this guy because everyone says it's such a fast format, which it definitely can be, but I have a lot of removal, and if you can get this guy down, he just has the ability to win you games. I know a lot of people don't want to play 6 drops in this format. That's fine. I'm not disagreeing with the basic idea of you don't want to play a lot of 6 and 7 drops in this format, but it's between that and a Skinbrand Goblin, which I could totally play. 2/1, it's got some Blood Rush, but I'd rather have the guy that can win me the game, especially because I got removal. So I'm just going to try to hold down the ground and then win. 2-1's probably not going to do that for me, at least not the winning part. I could take the Key Rune, and if I wanted to splash a Nimbus Swimmer or something, I could, but I don't really feel like I need to be doing that. I mean, I'll probably take it. Actually, I'll probably take the Dutiful Thrall. My Simic deck, or excuse me, the Gruul deck is pretty good, but I don't really have flyers. I'm not going to probably play the Assault Griffin. I'll probably play the Foundry Champion, so I would take that kind of a Guild Gate right here. But I don't think I'm going to play the Simic Key Rune, and the Dutiful Thrall kind of slows down my big guys on the ground, so I'd rather pull it out. Alright, 3 good cards for me. Verdant Haven helps because I'm going to have a lot of big drops, and it'll help me cast Foundry Champion. Ruination Worm is fine. I don't want to play a ton of them, and I do like to play 1 or 2 Active Treasons. So I'm going to pass the Ruination Worm. I'll probably get one in pack 3. It's going to be between the Verdant Haven and the Active Treason. And let's see. This may be wrong, but I want to play the Foundry Champion, and I have a lot of well, I have a few 5 and 6 drops. The extra mana is not bad for Clan Defiance. Okay, not going to play any of these. I always like something like this for a sideboard card in most sets, but there's not really any artifacts I'm worried about exiling here. I think I'm going to take it anyway because none of the other cards are good, but I really don't think it's much of a sideboard card in this set. Alright, again, none of these are going to do anything probably for anybody. If someone wants to play this, I guess if it beats us, it beats us. Bioshift, I'm not that worried about. Horror of the Dim's a bad creature, but I think a bad creature is better than the other bad stuff. These guys are fine, but we have trouble with flying guys. So if you have trouble with flying guys, pull the flying guy. Definitely need some creatures. Light on creatures, and probably not playing the Assault Griffin. And not playing a Nimbus Swimmer. So have next to no creatures. This pack is not very good for us. We're not going to play Illuminate Primordial, even if we're splashing for a Foundry Champion. I mean, we're not going to splash something for double white. Hellraiser Goblin, it's just not that aggressive. I don't even like it in an aggressive deck. It just happens so often where you just play this guy and then lose your whole team, or lose much of your team for no good reason. Drakewing Crisis, again, strong. Sorry about that dog barking. So for me, it's either a Scorchwalker, which is a creature, obviously. Another Verdant Haven, which helps a little bit, and I guess at that point I could play an Assault Griffin, but I don't really want to. I could play a Millennial Gargoyle. I could pick an Active Treason. Hopefully one of those cards will come back. I'm going to take the Scorchwalker. Alright, so there are some cards here for us. I'd play the Ceratok if I needed to, but I don't think that's the pick here. Again, Simic. I mean, it's only pick 2, but it seems pretty open. I mean, Pit Fight is the best card, I think. But I am looking at 9 creatures, and I'm going to hide the Assault Griffin. I may have to play it. But I'm looking at 8 creatures. Pit Fight's only good if you have creatures to fight with. How many green creatures do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another Ivy Lane Denizen would be okay. Obviously, it's much better if you have creatures and green ones. I have so much removal, I think I have to pass the Pit Fight here. I absolutely need creatures, so it's between the Denizen and the Scab Clan Charger, and I'm going to take the Denizen. I think the upside on it's a little better. I like the 2/4 body. I like the Blood Rush. But I absolutely need creature, and this will help me. God, it's hard to pass a Pit Fight, but I'm going to do it here. Okay, at this point, we kind of need ways to win. We do have a Clan Defiance, and we do have Foundry Champion and Ruination Worm, so I mean, we definitely have ways to win. The question is, do we want to run a giant Ataphage? Again, it's a 7-drop. I am running... Oh, we're taking it. I accidentally clicked on it instead of trying to highlight it. I was probably going to take it anyway, because I was just about to say that while it's a 7/7 for 7, It does have trample. If you get in with this guy one time, one time, you're probably going to win. So while I don't really want to play like a Luminate Primordial, which has some pseudo or has some removal kind of things with it, this guy will probably win the game for you. Along those lines, though, I've drafted it a couple times, and I don't think I've ever cast it one time. So that is definitely something to factor in. But at this point, it's a body. I kind of wish I had more time to look at that pack. I think there were some smaller green creatures that were okay in there. Here I'm going to take the Wasteland Viper. It goes good with Slaughterhorns or Ivy Lanes, and I like the card a lot. I like Dragewing Krasis too. I don't know if I mentioned that 7 or 8 or 9 times, but so could take a Guildgate, which helps with the fixing for like a Foundry Champion. Could take another Ruination Worm, which puts me really high on casting costs. I don't think I want to do that. I could take Spire Tracer, which was better for me than I expected in my last draft. He just kind of pings away one at a time most of the time. It does help the 2 Ivy Lane Denizens I have, and if you can get them to 2/2 or 3/3, it makes them pretty tough to deal with unless you're playing someone with just a ton of flyers. I don't think I want another 6-drop. I mean, I could just not play the Foundry Champion also, but at this point, I need creatures. I guess regardless of whether I play the Foundry Champion, I'm going to take the Spire Tracer. Okay, how crazy do you want to get with your mana? That is the question. At this point, I might just say, what the hell? Play a Borborygmos. I just said I can barely ever cast a Giant Ataphage at 7, so why wouldn't you run an 8-drop? Again, if that guy gets in, you're probably going to win. Let's see what... I mean, there's not really anything else for it. Like, a Boros Guildgate helps fix for Foundry Champion. But... is that what we want to do? Is that what we want to do? I could just not play Foundry Champion also, and just play Borborygmos and run a lot of lands. And you know what? What the hell? Let's have a good time. We're going to play Borborygmos. That may be a bad pick, but I want to play Borborygmos, so that's what we're going to do. Play Magic for fun. Sure, I'd like to win, but not very often you get to just say, hey, I'm already in Gruul, pack 3, pick 5, or whatever. Pick 5, let's take a Borborygmos. That being said, my curve is going to be pretty high. I might just cut the Foundry Champion, even though I think he's really good. I know you guys know how to play Magic. This guy should not be here. It doesn't go with my deck, so it's either a Skinbrand Goblin or Greenside Watcher. I don't have any gates, but I do have 2 Ivy Lane Denizens, so I think I'd rather have the Greenside Watcher for that value than the Skinbrand Goblin, so that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so there's some Dimir-ish type cards here. Spell Rupture is okay in Simic. It's not bad. Actually won me a couple games. Obviously any card can win you a game in the right circumstances, but it's actually not that bad, I don't think. Shadow Slice I like, as I've said. Last Thoughts I also like, either in Simic with Flying Guys or Dimir with Evasion Guys. I think these are both fine. Midnight Recovery I'd play in a pinch. Here I'm going to take the Naturalize. I don't really want to play Mark for Death, even though it does buy us a little time, but Naturalize is fine. And there's a Verdant Haven, so that's definitely what I'm taking. Again, very good Simic card on the Frilled Oculus, just floating around. Gridlock works okay in Simic. Millennial Gargoyle I actually wouldn't mind picking up here, for the fact that I really don't have a lot of ways to deal with flying other than some of my removal. I'm pretty light on creatures too, but the Verdant Haven, not only does it let me pick mana colors, it also adds an extra mana, so it really makes it a little bit easier for me to cast these 5, 6, 7, and maybe even an 8-drop. So I'm really happy to pick up the Verdant Haven. This guy shouldn't be here, but I'm pretty stoked that it wheeled for us. Frilled Oculus again, strong. The Sage's Row Denizen, he's okay. I like 2/3 better than 3/2, because there's a lot of 2 power guys in the set. So it makes blocking quite a bit better, but it's a Scab Clan Charger. Faux show. Not going to play probably any of these. Even if I sideboard a Naturalize, I'm not going to sideboard 2 of them, probably. So I think I'd rather just pull a Psychic Strike. That would be a bummer if someone Psychic Strike the Borborygmos or something, assuming we ever get there. I'll take the Gruul Key Rune. It's It's not amazing, but again, it helps us cast some of our big stuff. So this deck's interesting, for sure. So we'll build it up, see what happens. Alrighty, so I guess Stolen Identity is going to have to wait for another day. My understanding is this is pretty bonkers in the right set, or in the right deck. But we're not splashing it, and it wouldn't be right in our deck anyway. So this is one guy we could play, although I don't think so. But let's see what we want to play. Mugging, check. In Hindervines, I think the reasoning for taking it was sound. There was nothing else great in that pack when we took it, but we don't really have +1/+1 counters, so that guy's not going to do anything for us. This is another card. I mean, we could technically splash with our 2 Verdant Havens, but just not going to be doing that. But we'll just put it over there in the possibility pile. Definitely going to run 2 Verdant Havens with our huge deck. Probably going to run Foundry Champion as well. And Gruul Key Rune? Probably. Not running that. Not running that. Not running that. Not running that. Okay. So we're at 21. It's not going to change from clicking on it several times. I think these are the 2 I'm going to play. Just put us... the other idea is maybe we should run 18 lands. I did that with my last Gruul deck. It can be frustrating. Sometimes you just flood out on lands because half your deck almost is land. But I am trying to cast 5, 6, 7, and even an 8 drop. Again, this guy's probably not worth playing. Don't try this at home unless you just want to have fun with Magic, which should be the goal probably for everybody. But I say what the hell. Let's try a Borborygmos. So the question is, what do we want to do? Playing Mugging, I could cut a Spire Tracer, but I think I'm light on creatures already at 14, and with dual Ivy Lane Denizens, not only does he help with whatever creature I want to put counters on, you can put him on the Spire Tracer, and if you got a 3/3 Spire Tracer, I mean, he can get in and do some work. Ground Assault, I'm playing. Pit Fight, better with more creatures, but definitely playing Disciple. Gonna play those guys for sure. 2 Verdant Havens. In fact, I think with 2 Verdant Havens, it's kind of like playing an 18th land, assuming you, of course, get to 3 mana to play it. I'm playing 2 of them, plus with a Gruul Key Rune. They're not exactly the same, obviously, as playing an extra land, but I think between these 3, it's some ability to ramp it up. And I'm going to play the Foundry Champion. It might be a bad idea. Maybe if you're playing this much of a high curve, you don't want to run another 6-drop that's not in your colors. And if I didn't play that, I could run either an 18th land still or a Forced Adaptation. But I think I want to play the Foundry Champion also. I mean, this guy is pretty good. I don't have a ton of creatures, so his ability is only going to be plus his +0/+1 ability is going to not really come into effect as often, which means he's just a 4/4, but he's a 4/4 that you can pump to make stronger, plus he comes in and probably kills a guy or 2. Well, not 2, but he comes in and kills a guy. Maybe I shouldn't play the Foundry Champion. This is a pretty sweet curve, though. 5, 6, 7, 8, X. You don't see most pro drafts go this way. Probably for a reason. But we're gonna run it. Let's see. I mean, I could run 1 Plains, 2 Verdant Havens. Gives me 3 ways to draw into this. 1 Plains, 2 Verdant Havens. If I don't play that, I'd probably just play an 18th land. I'm just going to flood out on mana, though. You know what? Screw it. We're playing the Foundry Champion. That's actually probably pretty close to what we're going to do. Apparently whoever's playing red didn't like removal. 5. I think 6 is probably okay. With 2 Verdant Havens, that's kind of like 8. And then a Grokigron, that's kind of like 9. The only double, I mean, we have a Borborygmos and a Homing Lightning, but none of my early drops require a mountain. I think that's good. Let's check the green one. It's kind of like 3 planes for 1 Foundry Champion. Like I said, this may be a bad idea. Feel free to chime in. Let me know if I should just cut the Foundry Champion, if I shouldn't have ever even tried to play a Borborygmos, but like I said, I think it's fun. So let's see what happens. And the Giant Ataphage I probably was going to take, even if I didn't accidentally click it. But I did, and we're playing it. So... maybe 9-2. 9-2. Alright, that's what we're going to do. Let's go to round 1 and see what happens.